We are going to welcome the next speaker. Gail, is Gail here? Okay, I see Gail. There you go. Gail Lynn, so happy to have you here. Gail Lynn is a renowned visionary, inventor, and pioneer in the realm of frequency healing. She is fostering a paradigm shift in wellness and celebrated for her groundbreaking creation, the Harmonic Egg and the Lift Light Capsule. I am so honored to welcome Gail Lynn. How you doing, Gail? Oh, you're muted. Hold on, you're muted.
There we go.
There you
It
go.
said I
Okay.
couldn't on my own. I wasn't old enough to unmute on my own.
So happy to see you and to be with you. Thank you so much for coming to the summit. Um,
Oh,
I I know that there's a lot of people that may not have heard of you in the chat, and so I would just love to dive into your story because when I heard your story, I was just so inspired. I just like the bridge between science and and everything that we're talking about here, like spirituality and it's just like everything just kind of merged, and I think that's really unique. So, yeah, so please share your story.
oh my gosh, where do I start? Well,
Well,
I guess
if you can talk a little bit about like, you know, I believe you are a scientist and you were in that field and then you weren't feeling well and you went to that, I think it was a conference or some kind of a talk, and then those things happened with the box, and that whole story is just like, wow, it was amazing. So please share.
I
I'd
can
love to.
totally go there. I
Yeah.
can totally go
Okay.
there. I had
Okay.
like a bunch of different things. I'm like, where does she want me to go? I'll totally go
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
So I grew up in the Detroit area and I was in engineering. But my whole life I've been a seeker, private investigator, scientific. I don't ever call myself a healer because I just feel like, we're all our own best healers, but we're all here to heal ourselves. And I needed to heal myself. I had been plagued with,
I'm so sorry for interrupting you. Can you put up your
boy, right?
volume just a little bit
Yeah.
more? Okay.
How's that? Is that better?
Let's see. Let's hear the audience. Let's
Yeah.
get some feedback here. I mean, for me, I was hearing it fine, but there's several people that just brought my attention to that it was
Okay.
too low. So is this better, everyone?
Testing, testing. One, two, three.
Yeah, testing, testing. It says not
I'm
really. So can we perhaps make it even a little bit louder?
my computer is as loud as it'll go. Let me look at the recording on Zoom.
It says it's not the volume. Huh. It's probably the mic. Well, I'm not sure that we can do anything about that. So is the sound just not coming through at all? Because I hear it.
Yeah, I hear you like really loud. I have my speaker volume up really loud. Do they,
Yeah. We can hear her, but it's quiet. It's coming through. Okay. Well, if you can't make it any higher, then let's just, it's just gonna be low, you know,
all right. I'll
if
try
that's
to
okay.
talk a little louder. And
Okay.
so if I'm screaming, you're just, um, need to
Oh,
move
okay.
closer to the mic.
So the mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, and I've got a cloudy day, so I've got a light, blasting in my eye right here because I usually have natural light. Anyway,
Okay.
we're gonna go with that. I'll talk louder. Um, and maybe that'll help. I'm on a Mac desktop, so that it's usually pretty good. We did a great podcast yesterday. So I grew up in the Detroit area, and so I had this engineering background. I've been always a seeker, a private investigator, researcher, But I was plagued with my own health issues of, migraine headaches and cystic acne, and I had liver problems, I had thyroid problems, reproductive problems, just so many things. And it's crazy because I was so young and I started searching for something when I was 17 years old. And through a series of synchronicities, I found myself at a conference where a gentleman got up on stage talking about sound and light therapy. And at that point, I had already been through telecommunications for 7, 8 years, and I was in Hollywood for 7 years. And I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown, really. So I found this conference, and I went to this conference, Sound and Light Therapy. And as an engineer, you kind of think this is a little bit woo woo because it's it's hard to believe that you can just go into a sound and light box and miraculously have a healing. But we are vibrational beings of light from source, from God. So it made sense on some level that we should be healing with sound and light. So I'm listening to him talk, and he gets up on stage and he shows a presentation of a little boy that was needing many brain surgeries, and his mom was searching for something because no one got to put an expiration date or limitations on her son. So she was seeking this help. She found this light box, and as he's showing the presentation, he's showing a child that doesn't look like it has a soul. The windows, the soul, and the eyes, you just don't see anything going on. So it was really mind blowing that after a few sessions in this box, you could see that the soul looked like it came back into the eyes. And at the end of the presentation, a little boy who was told never have hair, never have teeth, probably wouldn't live. A little boy walks on stage with hair and teeth and arm crutches. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way this little boy was laying in this box and sound and light. I just couldn't believe it. But sure enough, there was this little boy coming onto the stage, and people were crying, and I bullied my way up to the stage after this his talk was done, and a stupid question that I asked, could this help with migraine headaches? Like I just saw this little boy kind of come to life, and his limitations were completely canceled out. And what an amazing story that he had. But for me, what plagued me was the migraine headache. So, of course, I said, will this help with migraine headaches? Well, of course, that would only make sense. That's a simple thing compared to what he went through. And so he said, the body doesn't know disease by name. So for me, that was a really interesting way to not make a claim. But at the time, being in corporate, that, I was just a corporate person, I thought that's not an answer. Just tell me yes or no. But now I know, being in the field, that you can't make a claim. You can't tell somebody that this is for sure going to help you. You can't say they're going to be healed. You can't guarantee anybody anything. So, really interesting. So, I decided to take a trip to Arizona where he was and did a few sessions. Within the two couple days of sessions, I was able to see a change in my stress level. And then when I went home, as the integration happened, I was able to see that the migraines were less intense and they lasted less time. So the migraines that I had were about 15 hours. It was like someone put an ice pick in the right side of my head and just moved it around for 15 hours. And if you have migraines, I'm so sorry because they are awful. And for that relief, it was a lifesaver for me. And I decided to launch into, how can I find out about this? How can I help people and support people through sound and light therapy? And that began my journey with sound and light therapy. And Odette, are you going to want me to just keep talking? Do you want me to go on?
Yes, absolutely. You can keep talking. I mean, this is yeah, and if I mean, my husband had the experience with the harmonic egg, and he had just an amazing experience. I'm actually going to go there and have a session next week. So, I would just love to hear more about that as well. So, yes, please please keep speaking. And if you want to do an exercise with the group or maybe take some questions, we can also do that as well. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so then where I'll go with this is we need to be discerning because there's a lot of modalities coming out now, sound and light and frequency medicine, the medicine of the future, where we are in the future of medicine now. This is where we are. And I just want to inform everybody, even if you don't resonate with the harmonic egg, whatever you do, be discerning, do some research, find out who's at um, at the head of this company because they have an energy. That energy is going to be in the company. Everything is energy. So I just encourage everybody to be discerning. Don't run out and do everything on the same day because you really need to let your body integrate the example I give. You wouldn't eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner all at the same time. You would let one digest and then eat lunch and let that digest and eat dinner and let that digest. So you need to do that with energy work as well. You want to let it integrate so that your DNA and your cells and your systems understand what your body just went through and how can it integrate properly. If you start piling things on top of each other, you're not going to integrate properly and you might even spin your body out of control and create something that you don't want to create. So I just want people to be responsible. It's one of the things that I'm doing is educating people on energy medicine. We really do need to look at the energy behind it. Even there's several types of healers. And I say there's three types of healers. There's the one that will meet you where you are and work on you and then go back to wherever they are. Up or down is not good or bad. It's just the two-dimensional way that I have to explain it. So a healer that is down here that's maybe having a really bad day and they're going through a divorce or there's something really going on, it's possible that they pull you down to their energy level and then they transmit all of their negative emotions to you. And so you want to be really careful when you leave a healing session. Are you feeling your energies or are you feeling the healer's energies that were passed along to you? And then the third type of healer was one of my mentors. He was way up here. And say I'm down here. If I couldn't come up to here to meet him, then I would get nothing. But if I could come up here to meet him energetically, it was a miraculous healing. So we have to be conscientious of the healers we go to, what kind of emotional state are they in, making sure that they're neutral, they're clearing their energy, they're not passing along things to you. So that's kind of how the egg came up is it's a consistent and repeatable modality in the form of a machine. Not all machines are created equally. You want to look for a machine that doesn't have a lot of EMFs, there's not a lot of computer screens in there, a lot of flashing lights that can create headaches or an epileptic type of incident for you. And so I wanted to create the egg where it came through as wood lined on the inside. There's no Wi-Fi or Bluetooth technologies. And then I started to research music and frequencies and the solfeggio suite and how people say 528 hertz is the frequency of love and healing your DNA. But in this world that we're living in now, we're all vibrating at different frequencies and we're starting to awaken. We're starting to become more conscious. We're starting to tune into our intuition and there's more hope for humanity that I'm seeing. People are kinder and gentler and more compassionate and wanting to be in community. And I think it's beautiful. And so if you're vibrating at 800 hertz, in my engineering mind, why would you put yourself on 528 hertz? Wouldn't that bring you down versus you want to elevate to a higher level? And David Hawkins on Power versus Force talks a lot about this in his book. The frequency of fear is 100 and joy is above 500 and then love is the highest vibration. And so everybody's at a different place. So I started to research about the waveforms of instruments and how the waveforms of instruments could actually affect your body and your systems and your organs. And that's really where I create the music for the harmonic egg. And if you look at the root chakra, the color of red. The instrument that would be invoked with helping to balance the root chakra will be drumming. And I'm just going to kind of go into some simplicity about it. Of course, I can take questions at the end, and I also have an exercise to do at the end too, Odette. So if we look at that, and then there's also foods that can bring the chakras back into balance. So when you have an imbalance in your root chakra, you can use drumming to bring that back into balance. And you can eat foods that are red. You can do this stuff at home. You can wear the color red. So I just want to teach people how you can do some of this stuff at home. It doesn't have to be that you're going out. In a perfect world, we would listen to our bodies and we would seek our own counsel on what our body needs. But we all are looking for a crutch or some help or tell me what to do. How do I do it? And I'm even guilty of that. I still go to my, local DO. Oh, like I need this energy work. He does house calls now, which is really cool that doctors are stopping taking insurance and they're starting to do house calls again and kind of going back to the olden days. So I had a hip issue on my right side. And the right side is normally about the masculine side. And so there was definitely a business vendor in my life that I had some issues with. And so I'm feeling it on the right side in my hip energy. And he came over to do some work on me. And he said, there's nothing wrong with you. You just have to let your hip be and, let that emotion release. So he was leaving and I'm like, can I make another appointment? He was like, no, can't make another appointment. You're fine. So, even I look for help too, and I do egg sessions every week. So then you look at the next chakra up is the sacral chakra and the color orange. It will be helped with flute music and different colors of food you could use. Look at orange foods. Then you go up to the sacral chakra, and that would be yellow. And that would be harp and adrenal glands, so just giving you some examples, digestive disorders could be happening in your body if you have an imbalance in your sacral chakra. And then you go up to the heart chakra where bells are a great instrument to help bring the heart chakra back into balance. So heart issues, high blood pressure, different things like that. Then you go up to the throat chakra. Violin music is really great for that. And you'd have maybe stiff neck. You don't have a voice. There's a lot of people who are looking to have their voice with their partners, their families, in business. And so they'll get a lot of thyroid issues, even Epstein-Barr, Hashimoto's, emotionally activated viral loads. So there's also, and at the end here, I'll give you guys a code for a copy of my book for free. And in the book, I talk about the different smells that could bring the chakra back into balance and more on the foods. But if you think about the chakras and the colors, eating the rainbow of colors is really good. Wearing different colors every day to help your body absorb the different frequencies of the actual chakras to bring balance to your life. The third eye chakra, piano music, the pineal gland, people could get migraines, brain tumors, and stuff like that. Some of the foods would be like purple blue type eggplant. Then you have the crown chakra, which is like string instruments. Think about, the heartstrings could also be, the heart chakra could be brought into balance by string instruments, but also the crown chakra, the pituitary gland. You have a lot of depression. That could be because you have an imbalance in the crown chakra. And then we'll go back to kind of some of the colors, just to kind of spark some ideas for you. Red is a very stimulating color, so it can increase blood pressure, where blue can bring blood pressure down. I just was working with a child with jaundice, and they've been using blue light with jaundice for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Who knows? So, hospitals even know about color therapy, but they haven't really embraced it like they could. So red light therapy is not the best thing for everyone. Everything in moderation, of course. Red light therapy, because red light is very stimulating, it could be too much on the nervous system, especially if you're stuck in fight or flight. So I don't use it with kids, I don't use it with pets, but it can be, really great for physical injuries where you're trying to increase circulation to heal something. For orange, the orange to me is the color of success and freedom. And you guys were talking about abundance on this summit this morning. I had a girl one time and she's like, I hate the color orange. And it just made me laugh so hard. I was like, why do you hate orange? She's like, I don't know, just hate orange. And through a series of synchronicities, because that's how my life works, it's pretty amazing. There was a child that came in after having RSV. And I've known him his whole life. I basically knew him when he was in the womb. The mother would come to my center while she was pregnant, and then she brought him after he was born. So I knew him really well. That day that he came in, he was afraid of me. He was hiding behind his mom. I had a yellow shirt on. And she said, oh my gosh, he's freaking out. You have a yellow shirt on. She was very self aware. She said all the nurses in the hospital were wearing yellow during his time being in the incubator with the RSV. And I said, oh my gosh. And so I asked the girl that was hated the color orange. I said, can you remember anything about orange being a trauma in your life? And she was able to identify where orange was, where it came up that she hated orange. So of course I put her on orange light, and she got through the session and released that trauma. It's really cool because we can release a lot of traumas. And I always tell people, you don't have to be your story. I have a lot of stuff that I could paralyze myself with and say, oh, woe is me. This happened to me and that happened to me. And my dad was an alcoholic and I was molested by the priest when I was 14. Like, who cares? It's not my story anymore because I was able to release it using sound and light therapy from the cellular level. So even though, yes, it did happen to me, it doesn't define me. And that's what I want for everybody to learn is you don't get defined by your story. It's something that happened to you, great. Go out and teach about it. Help people, help other people to heal from their story. So for yellow, it's the color of joy and cheer. It's the solar plexus chakra, as I talked about earlier. Green is very soothing. I mean, look around at everything in nature is green. It's about safety, nature. Some say it helps with migraines. I've always had better luck with purples and blues with migraines. Everybody's different. We're all different galactic beings. For blue, blue can be very calming, reducing inflammation, jaundice, as I talked about. I like it for migraines, lowering blood pressure. It's the color of the throat chakra and kind of a bluish purple for the third eye chakra. Purple for transformation, guidance, very spiritual color. When I go into the egg, I love to use yellows and purples as those are my favorite spiritual colors. Also reminds me of Easter and Easter eggs. So it's kind of a joke around the company. Everything's excellent. Have an excellent day. That's so exciting. We have all the jokes. It's quite funny.
I have a
So
couple of questions for you because you talked about abundance and orange, and you also talked about the red light, and yeah, I have a lot of questions on that as well. So going back to the orange and the abundance, so if someone wants more abundance, that's a color, I guess, for abundance, and that kind of brings them into the vibration. And so is it like a teal orange? Is it like, I'm trying to get a little bit more scientific with the color, but maybe we don't need to.
you could just anything that has a shade of orange or has orange as
Okay.
part of the color, you'd have that frequency.
I
And
see.
sometimes it might be even a placebo effect, just wear some orange or orange jewelry, orange underwear, orange socks, just kind of go crazy with it. I bought an orange car and it was just I felt so abundant with that car and I just loved it. It was like the Texas Longhorns and it was beautiful. But then I moved into the country and it was more of a sporty car. So I had to get an SUV. So I bought a blue RAV4 Toyota.
Okay.
And I drive now because blue is just super calming. the way that the business is blowing up and the abundance that I have in my life, it's a lot of stress. So your question earlier to
Mhm.
everybody, like, did you get what you wanted? Yes, I did. I have financial freedom and I have anything and everything that I need or want, but the stress is now through the roof because
Mhm.
now I have all these responsibilities. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, it's like careful what you wish for.
All right, yeah. Okay, so all right, so orange for abundance. And then when we talk about, I guess when I talk about abundance, it could be abundance in so many things like financial health. If people want financial, I guess would that be the orange color? Is it more financial, or is it just abundant energy in all aspects?
Yeah, I go with orange for that, but I also
Okay.
encourage people to have focus because there's a lot of people. I have a lot of friends who are inventors and they're like, I have 110 inventions. And I said, how many have you actually put out to the market? And they say none. So they don't have focus. They're
Right.
dirt broke, super poor, and they just have all these wonderful, amazing ideas, but they never do anything with them. And so
Okay.
I would encourage the audience to have focus and you focus on that one thing and you get it done and you manifest it and it's just like the book The Secret, but you have to take some
Right.
action,
Right.
and
The
action
action exists.
is the things you
Yeah.
have to do.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I didn't have focus, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Right. Absolutely. So before we get into like the egg and I also interrupted you and I have some questions on. Okay. So like the red light therapy, I had heard so many good things about it and I started to do red light therapy just a couple a few years ago, but it didn't work for me as much till last year. For some reason, last year when I started to do red light therapy, and and we just kind of my husband, he's also a scientist, and more a computer scientist. But anyways, so what we did was he bought some red lights through Amazon, and then he made like these stands for them. And then and we have this table, and then, we direct it towards our body. And what I felt last year is when I put the red light on my face after a session, and I would be there for like an hour, I would feel younger. And this was like a red light that we bought on Amazon. Like it's not like we didn't do like, all the research on, what's the wavelength of this particular red light? Because I'm sure different red lights have different, strengths, if you will, right? And so we didn't go and research that. We just bought the one on Amazon that we found. And but my face, I would look in the mirror and I felt and I looked younger. I mean, why is that? Is that normal? Is that not normal? Like what's that about?
So, sound and light therapy can be very anti-aging. And you may have
I
even
see.
experienced that with another color. It may not have just been red light. I wouldn't say that
Okay.
red light is the one, but the nanometers of the color spectrums of all the different colors do something different. And when you're
Okay.
inside of a chamber, like where you're using sound and light in a resonant chamber, you can strengthen the telomeres. Some people call them telomeres, some call them telomeres. And I don't think that they're actually lengthening them, but it's strengthening them with the egg. And so I'm 55 and it just seems like the egg is very anti-aging. It's very, it's to me, I'm blown away by it on a daily basis with what it's helping people to do with depression and dementia and Parkinson's and PTS and all these different things. I'm just absolutely amazed every day. So I do see that red light therapy can increase circulation. So you may have increased the blood flow to the face, which would have then helped. Maybe you had a tingling sensation. So
Mhm.
absolutely that is you weren't dreaming it and
Okay.
it was yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then when I did because you said sometimes it's good for some people situations, and sometimes it's not good for some people in certain situations. I had an injury on my right shoulder, and so I did the red light, and oh my gosh, it did not work. It actually hurt afterwards. And so, can you say a little bit about that?
So I probably would have used, I was going to ask you about your arm injury, but I didn't know if everybody knew about it.
Yeah.
I would probably have used blue light to reduce the inflammation,
Oh,
depending on
okay.
what it was. The red light may
Okay.
have stimulated it and brought some blood
Okay.
flow through to it.
Okay. Got
And
it.
I would have probably use blue light for that. But also think about the throat chakra where the shoulders are. It's real close to that
Oh,
throat
yeah,
chakra.
that's right. Okay.
Yeah, so
Got
the
it.
right side is the masculine side. So something
Okay.
to do with a masculine energy could have been, someone you
Okay.
had to fight with. And so
Okay.
then our body sends us messages all the time. So I always
Right.
encourage people to look up the message of the shoulder and the right side of the body. Look up the message.
Right.
I have a new client who has a hernia. And, hernias are a message from the body. There's
Right.
something going on. So you want to look that stuff up and make sure that you're
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to the messages your body's giving you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You have a
And
question in your
oh, there's a question. Okay. There it is. Okay. Was it red light for therapy or just a red light bulb? So I bought a red light on Amazon. I don't even know. I don't have the link. And we put it on a stand. So yeah, it was just like a red light bulb, really. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Winona? It does. And then the next one we have I have using 20 minutes a day on my face as I was having my eyelids swelling up all of a sudden and within my eyes and healed just amazing. Within 5 weeks, it was healed. Yeah, like, yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Well, I would love to dive into the harmonic egg, and I know some people don't know about the harmonic egg, and just, here's a shameless plug because my husband, he's really picky with, healing alternatives and stuff. And we went to Tampa for this event, and I couldn't go because I had somewhere else to go to. So he tried the harmonic egg, and his meditations are amazing. And he came back from that and he was like, you have to do this. And so I've been dying to do it. And we don't live in Tampa, so it's a little bit of ways to get there, but I'm going to do it next week. And he was just blown away. He said that he felt so peaceful and so like calming, and he couldn't believe that it happened so fast because like he meditates and I meditate and we get into these like altered states of just complete peace and bliss. And he was like, it was as if I was meditating for 2 hours, and it was just like it was condensed, like it just came so quickly, that peace and that calmness. And I was like, wow, it's amazing. So that's what he said. I just wanted to share that.
So yeah, I don't like to do an infomercial or anything. So I'll just say that sound and light therapy is amazing. And I feel like, the harmonic egg, because the egg shape is where life comes from. If you look at Victor Schauberger's work, he talks about the cosmic egg, and then when water is vibrating inside of an egg shape, the vibrating water is higher of a vibe. I studied Edgar Casey, and Edgar Casey talks about bringing the spiritual forces of sound and the spiritual forces of light together. He talks about this in the 40s. I studied Wilhelm Reich with the Oregon box. And so I can read about the Oregon box and the marketing that they did for it. And I could basically word for word use it for the egg. It's a bit of an Oregon box. We don't get EMFs inside. It's a Faraday cage. I didn't know that's what I was creating, but when I test it with the EMF tester, there's no EMFs inside. And then there's Nikola Tesla, where he says the secrets of the universe are kind of found in the numbers of 3, 6, and 9. go out in nature. I encourage you to go out in nature. Look at some of these plants. You'll see three, petals. You'll see, I think a four-leaf clover is more of a magical, maybe it's a mutation because most of the leaves are three, and three, sixes, and nines are where I kind of design the mathematics of the egg. So I think just sound and light therapy, color therapy is so brilliant. And yes, I love the egg. I'm completely biased. I feel like the energy inside the egg is helping your nervous system to reboot. And that's where the calmness is coming
Mm,
from. That's
mm,
where I feel like it's like Shavasana on steroids. You go in there, and within a few minutes, your body's coming into balance. That's where the body can heal naturally. And so I think our bodies are magical. We don't really need all these tools and these healers, but it's always fun, and it's always fun to do these things. I love using other modalities, but there's some of them I'll see and it's like I think that's going to make me sick, because
yeah.
if I'm vibrating at a higher vibration and then the energy of this machine would bring me down, I'll have insomnia, or there'll be something that will affect my body in a negative way. So we have to be discerning. We have to know what our galactic body needs. Maybe it's massage and Reiki. Maybe it's acupuncture and the egg, but separate the modalities, respect the modalities, respect the healers that you go to. Ask them, what is the integration time for this? It might be 2 days or 3 days. The egg is 5 to 7 days. You will see results happening for 5 to 7 days after an egg session. So I just want people to know that there's some
Yeah.
beautiful modalities coming out, and it's
Yeah.
fun. It's
Yeah.
non-invasive, but they're powerful. So they're
Yeah.
not to be taken like as a toy or a joke.
Yeah.
They're serious things that can help heal the body without
Yeah.
the invasive
Yeah.
pills and surgery.
So I love that. I love that because I think more and more people are seeing like but I knew of someone that had a shoulder injury and the doctor said that she needed surgery, and she didn't do surgery, and it healed on its own. You know, she had to do some, acupuncture, all these other different modalities, but it healed on its own, and she didn't do surgery, which is great. I mean, yeah, I don't like to, I wouldn't want to do surgery. But anyways, we've got a question here. Christina saying harmonic egg, is that like a calm sound dream egg? So can you describe it for people so people can get a feel for what it physically looks like?
So yeah, if you go to harmonicegg.com, there's a picture of it, just so you know. But it is 11 foot by 11 foot by 7 foot. A person can lie inside of a recliner chair inside the egg. You're surrounded by wood, and there's a sonic massage because there is a subwoofer under the chair. And so you get this little bit of vibration, and there's 40 minutes of music and 10 minutes of silence. A lot of people just listen to the music even at home because I have song sheets for each piece of music that I create. I have a song sheet. What are the colors intended for this piece? What chakras will it affect? What organs and systems will it affect? What tone? We don't have time for this conversation, but what tone is it recorded in? If you're missing the tone of C, you could have heart problems. If you're missing the tone of E, you could have lung problems. So you can do a voice analysis. To learn more about this, you can go to AniWilliams.com, and it's ANI Williams.com. And she's got a brilliant uh, explanation of, when you're missing a tone, this is some physical and emotional correlates for that. So I studied her work. Just really, really cool stuff just to kind of get people's juices flowing and get you thinking about being more conscious, listening to your body. So you get 40 minutes of music, 10 minutes of silence. And the silence to me is the beauty of it. In silence is where we get our messages. That's why you meditate. That's why sometimes you get messages in the shower, because you don't really have to think about, oh, I got to wash my arm and I got to wash my ankle. You're just doing it, and it's kind of a meditation. You're driving sometimes. It's dangerous, but it seems like you go on autopilot, and then you get somewhere and you're just, how did I even get there? but you have these downloads and you're thinking and you're in silence and you're in this meditative place. It's so beautiful. And so that's what the egg does. Somebody asked about those hanging chairs for kids. They're not really a resonant chamber. They're just a design. So I don't think that they would be the same as being inside of maybe some of those
Hmm.
chairs are plastic and they're shaped like an egg. That energy
Yeah,
might work.
right.
But probably not the hanging chair. That's that
Hmm.
what is that wicker kind of chair that probably this is a whole
Right.
different thing.
Yeah. And
And
then
you can
somebody, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, you can
Uh,
get some of the music online, and Kid Sanctuary is one that you might play for your kid at home that would be
oh,
really calming for him at home or
oh,
her.
wonderful. Yeah, somebody was asking about location. I live in northern Michigan. Do you know anyone who does these things up around Traverse City or can travel to the Detroit area if you know someone down there? And my husband actually put a link in the chat of the locations, so you can click on that link and find the locations.
Thanks, husband.
And
So we have one in Bay City, Marshall, Michigan, Grand Rapids. So you can check those out. But the locations you can put in your zip code and you can find the closest one. And you can, Ani, Ani Williams, that was, yes, for the voice analysis and the missing tones. And so, yeah, you can definitely find a location. You can also do remote sessions. I think your group would understand this, but a lot of people, it's doesn't fit in their head that you can do a remote session.
so
So
how
what
would
we
that work? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We take your photo and we take your full birth name and your birth date. That's when you were perfect. That's when you were born. And then we have an intention. And it's just like you're there, but your picture's in the egg. So I will do sessions in, Peru because I love the Peru energy. So I feel like when I'm in the Peru egg, I'm absorbing that energy from Pachamama. It's so beautiful. I did a session with the Mount Shasta egg not too long ago because I wanted to get some Mount Shasta energy. I did a session in, England, Netherlands, Belgium. I do sessions all over when I just feel want to tune into that energy. I also put my horse in. My horse, um, I was leaving for a trip, and the horse sitter was going to be, babysitting for her. And I go out to the barn in the morning, and her eyes all pussy, and it's all watering. It's all swollen. I'm like, really? I'm leaving in 2 days. I don't have time for this. So I went ahead and put her in a session for the egg, in the egg, and the next day it was gone. And this is a testimonial on my blog page as well. You see the before and after picture in just one session.
That's
Animals,
amazing.
animals and children only know love. So they heal like so
Yeah.
fast because
Yeah.
they only know love.
Hmm.
If we as adults with all of our baggage could absorb that and only know love, then I think healing would be so easy, just really hard for us.
Yeah.
So you can put the pets in there. I mean, just like the craziest stuff. But think about prayer. Somebody says, "Will you pray for me?" And you pray for them, and they have a miraculous healing, and they're 6,000 miles away. It's
Hmm.
like sending energy to somebody.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love that. I love it. So then when you say I wanted a healing in Mount Shasta, so someone physically in Mount Shasta has your egg there, correct? Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
Just wanted to get that.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I just called up Donna, and I'm like, I'm gonna sign up for a session with you, and she's like, "Yay!" And she puts me in her egg, and it was so crazy
Oh my
that
gosh.
I finished the session at 2 o'clock, and my boyfriend was supposed to come over, I want to say 4 o'clock. And I thought it was still like 2:05, and he showed up, and I said, "You're so early." He's like, "It's 4 o'clock." I was in a time warp or something. I don't know what happened in that Mount Shasta energy, but it was felt like 5 minutes was 2 hours. It was crazy.
Oh, I love that. I love Mount Shasta. And I've never been to Peru, but I want to. I want to go there and visit. Yeah, I bet the energy is amazing. Oh, well, that's amazing. So what other, let's say somebody is not, resonating with the, long distance and they don't have an egg close to them, somebody or a facility that has an egg close to them, what other things can they do to get maybe a similar effect? Maybe not as, the full effect, but yeah, are there any alternative things?
So music is medicine. So we have a lot of song selections that you can actually, when you go to a center, that would be the pieces of music that you're hearing in the egg. You can listen to those at home. You can eat the rainbow, and you can wear different colors and frequencies based on how you're feeling. The rest of my list is I want to also bring up pink, because pink can be really good for weight loss and friendships, and sometimes we think of it as a feminine color, but it's about the color of youth as well. So I'll give you guys a free book, and at the back of the book, in the the back pages of the book, there's a whole couple pages. It'll tell you what chakras, what colors, what instruments, what foods to eat, what smells that you can smell to bring those chakras back into balance. And it also tells you if you have an imbalance in that chakra, what could be happening: digestive disorders, migraines, brain tumors, sciatica pain, so on and so forth. So I think it's just it'll be a good resource for your audience.
Thank you so much, Gail. Oh my gosh, this is such a treat to have you here.
I have a little exercise if you guys want to do it. It was
Yeah.
taught to me by Slim Sperling's business partner, who was like an uncle to me, Bill Reed. And I think a lot of us are walking around like Swiss cheese. So we've given away our soul parts, bits and pieces, or people have come to us and, they've taken that, not intentionally, but sometimes intentionally. So I feel like a lot of us are just walking around like Swiss cheese. So I want to do a little exercise with everybody to bring back those soul parts and then send back those other soul parts that they may have willingly or unwillingly taken from somebody else. So
Okay.
you guys
Yeah,
want to do that?
absolutely. I'm ready.
All right, so I'll just have everybody close their eyes. I'll go off video. Everybody close their eyes and picture themselves in a clear rectangular box. You're going to visualize 4 gold balls on every corner of the top of the box. So you'll have 2 gold balls on the top in front of you and 2 gold balls on the top behind you. And you're going to do 2 gold balls at the bottom where your feet are in front of you and 2 gold balls behind you. So you're basically in a clear box with 8 gold balls, 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom. Now you're going to send lovingly and gently all the parts, bits, and pieces that you have taken from people, whether intentionally or unintentionally, it doesn't matter. Send those back lovingly and kindly. When you listen to the replay, you may stop it here, but I want to move on. So the next part of the exercise is to call back in all those parts, bits, and pieces that have been taken from you, either willingly or unwillingly, and ask them to come back to you gently and lovingly from anyone who has taken them. Now, what you do is you look at your body from head to toe and look at it like a matrix where it's filling back up all those Swiss cheese holes. You're becoming full again. You're experiencing your full potential. Everything is yours by divine right, is there. And so just see it like all the way down to your feet. And then when you are completely full, expand your energy in that box and the exercise is complete.
That was amazing, Gail. Wow.
I think it's really simple. It's easy to do. I do it in the shower every day so that I'm just clearing out all that energy. And I find that I've taken parts from my sister. I didn't expect to do that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got some of my sister here. Give that back to her. That's not for me to take. But I love her so much. And we love people so much that we
Right.
take sometimes and we don't
We
realize it.
take.
I do this exercise daily. And I thought it was just a beautiful exercise that's short and sweet. And Bill is passed now, and I just am forever grateful for him teaching that to me.
Oh, wow, that was so beautiful. I feel like almost like clearer now. I do. Thank you. It was
You're welcome.
amazing. And thank you for this wonderful conversation. And thank you so much for all of your gifts and, everything that you're doing and the harmonic egg. And I know that you have other things. And so I'd like to go ahead. Okay, we have that is not the gift. That's the one from Stephanie.
Yeah, I'll give you mine.
Okay. All right.
I know, Christina, the you don't necessarily know. You could pick up a part from the clerk at the grocery store. You could pick up something, or somebody at the grocery store could just love the way your energy so much that they take a part from you. So just look for the holes and just fill in the holes and just call back. Use the intention of calling everything back and sending everything back that's not yours by, your highest and best. You don't always know where those pieces are from or where they've gone to.
Yeah. I'm just responding to somebody right now. Give me one
I'm looking at
second
your
here.
chat here. Yes, so I'm going to give you guys the code media free. So this is kind of a media event. So media free will get you the Unlocking the Ancient Secrets to Healing book, which is amazing. There's so many references to the efficacy of sound and light therapy. There's different sections to the book. There's client testimonials, media free at harmonicegg.com. And so you guys enjoy that. I'm coming out with another book that's going to be called It's Time. It's a handbook for conscious living in chaotic times.
Oh, I
That's
love the
not out yet.
title. I love
Yeah,
it.
so I love it too. I did a documentary called It's Time that you guys can check out for free at itstime.love. I'm just offering it for free because I want everybody to watch it and do something in kindness and in love. And I think if we can get
Mm.
more people to do things in kindness and in love, we can change the world.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Gail. Any parting words?
Wow, that's interesting. I would just